Don't let one bad leg haunt your parlay. Parlays turn into payouts, and now even near misses won't haunt your bet. The NFL season is here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is rewriting the rules with Ghost Leg, a new game-changing promotion that turns close calls into cold, hard cash. Best of all, it's available to all DraftKings customers. Here's how it works. Build any 3+ leg pregame NFL parlay on Sunday, apply your Ghost Leg token, and if one leg loses, DraftKings makes it vanish like it never existed and pays you out in cash for the rest. Last season, over 30 million parlays were lost by a single leg. This year, Ghost Leg gives those busted bets a second life. No more busted parlays that haunt you all season. With Ghost Leg, the bad leg vanishes. The payout doesn't. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code PFF. That's code PFF to unlock Ghost Leg, the promotion that makes one bad leg disappear and pays you out in real cash. Ghost your losses, get your payout in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
Monday Night Football. Speaking of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they are traveling to Houston to take on the Houston Texans here. Houston's coming off of a tough loss, close loss to the Los Angeles Rams. Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming off, like we said, that win against the Atlanta Falcons. Where are we starting here, Dalton? What do you want to talk about?
Look, I think it's gonna be a theme when it comes to both of these teams. Once again, pass protection, right? I mean, the Bucs. Look, they got just squeaking by last week against Atlanta with Graham Barton at left tackle, with Michael Jordan at left guard, with their usual left guard Ben Bredesen at center. They barely got by. This is a whole different animal now. You're talking about a Houston defensive front that dominated the Rams' offensive line, and you're talking about two superstar edge rushers in Will Anderson Jr. and Danielle Hunter. Last week against the Rams, look, they lost 14-9. You can't blame these two guys because they were great on the defensive side. Will Anderson, 89.5 pass rush grade, 4 pressures, 1 sack, 41.7% pass rush win rate in week 1 for Will Anderson. Danielle Hunter, 78.7 pass rush grade, 3 pressures, and a 30% pass rush win rate. This is a problem. This is a real problem. Baker Mayfield, he needs to get rid of the ball quickly. He had 4 turnover-worthy plays last week, got away with it, found a way to win, but this is a way better pass defense, I would say right now, especially on the defensive line with Houston than it is for Atlanta. Atlanta still struggles to rush the passer. This team has Anderson and Hunter along with a great secondary. The task only gets harder for Tampa Bay as they wait for Tristan Wirfs to come back.
Yeah, I think that a lot on this game rides on the Bucs defensive backs, to be honest with you. Their cornerbacks and then their safeties, because I think it might be a tough day at the office for their offense. Baker Mayfield had some crazy good throws this past week against the Falcons, don't get me wrong. But he also had those 4 turnover-worthy plays, and it was genuinely a tough game for Baker, especially in the early parts of it. You are now going up against a defensive line that has those 2 caliber edge rushers that you talked about. I mean, Baker Mayfield is going to get pressured as much or certainly more. It's one of the two. It's not going to be less. It's going to be as much or more than he was pressured against the Falcons, and he had 4 turnover-worthy plays. So I got to think that if that continues again, he's probably going to pay for it a little bit more this week. I think that the Houston Texans offense is going to be a little bit better this week because I don't think the Bucs on their defensive line are as stout, and I should say as fast as that Rams defensive line is. And to be honest with you, Nico Collins, let's talk about the fact that was a close game between the Rams and the Texans. Nico Collins didn't do anything in that game. Now, of course, that was by design. You know, the Rams defense is keying on one of the best receivers in the NFL, but 5 targets, 3 catches, 25 yards. He had a 15.3 threat percentage, which, if you're new here, threat percentage is how often you are targeted per route that you are running down the field. 15.3%. That's the lowest single week threat percentage that he has had since week 3 of 2023. So you better believe they're going to look to dial things up more for him. They're going to try to, you want to say force him the ball more, just get him involved more in the game plan. I think this one's going to be close. Ultimately, the Falcons didn't make the Bucs makeshift offensive line, didn't make them pay for it. I think Houston does. I think Houston wins this game 27-24. I think it's going to be a game where both teams are scoring in the 20s. It's kind of a coin flip on, to me, how much the Bucs can get after Houston's offensive line. And then does Baker Mayfield throw the turnovers? Like, does he still have those turnover-worthy plays? Those are the key factors for me. Ultimately, though, with the Texans being home, how ferocious their defense is, I'll say they barely get the win here, 27-24.
If this becomes a pass and stop the pass game, I'm with you, and Houston will probably win it. I want to say the most important player for the Bucs in this game is Bucky Irving. They, like you mentioned before, They got to run the ball better. Houston is vulnerable inside if you can run between the tackles. The Rams did a nice job of balancing their offense and working off that last week. If the Bucs can get Irving going between the tackles and get on these defensive tackles and these linebackers, I like it. And I don't really know with Vita Vea in the middle of it especially, I don't really know how the Texans are going to run the ball in this game. They did a decent job of it with Nick Chubb last week, but if that's what we're banking on with the Texans run game and this offensive line, I don't love it. I like the advantage that Todd Bowles could have with some of his blitz packages, or even if he wants to sit back and rush for and play in coverage, I get it. Look, the Texans, you got to remember, this team did not score a touchdown last week against the Rams, so I think you're talking about an offensive line that really it's sinking the whole operation. And yes, they need to get the ball downfield to Nico Collins. Yes, they need to get it to Jaden Higgins and Christian Kirk and Dalton Schultz and all these weapons, but it doesn't matter if you can't block people and you're constantly in third and long. I'm going to take Tampa Bay to go on the road and get this win 23-16.
Love that.
I'm sure you do.
Hope you're right. I really do. It really, to me, it just comes down to, I have a lot of respect for the Rams defensive line, and Houston's offensive line looked very bad last week. If they struggle in the same way against Tampa's defensive line, which I don't think is bad, like, I want to be very clear, I don't think Tampa's defensive line is bad. I don't think they're as stout and as fast as the Rams defensive line. But if Houston's offensive line still looks just as bad, if not worse, against Tampa's defensive line, well, okay, now we have our main takeaway for the Houston Texans moving forward through at least the first half of the season, I think. So that's obviously where everybody's going to go to first.